All right, we are back live on the Radio Row here at the Moscone Convention Center in San Francisco, California. I am joined by a good gentleman. He is the owner of the Football Game Plan. He is the czar of the playbook. He is also a television host. So you can catch him on CBS Sports headquarters watching it. I like to watch from time to time when I'm dealing with my college football. And if anybody that I know is probably on a national level a bigger, and I mean this in a very good way, Shador defender, it is this gentleman here because he knows ball, Mr. Emory Hunt. Emory, thank you so very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Darren, I appreciate you bringing me on the show, man. Big fan.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So, look, first things first, we're at the Super Bowl. I'm at the Super Bowl. Give me your thoughts on what you expect this weekend between the New England Patriots as well as the Seattle Seahawks.
I expect a really good game, a really good showcase of defensive prowess for both teams. You look at how they both got here. Both of their defenses are excellent. I know the Patriots do a great job in stuffing the run within their front seven. I love what they have on the back end, guys that make plays on the ball, that could turn the ball over. And you can say the same things for the Seattle Seahawks. I love the fact that stat is out there. Opposing quarterbacks' yards per attempt is at 6.6. So that tells you the ball is coming out quick, it's coming out short, and they're rallying up and making a tackle. So both defenses are excellent, and I like the different paths the quarterbacks have taken to get here. Drake May played great in the regular season, not so great in the postseason, and Sam Darnold last year didn't play great in the postseason, which is partly the reason why he's here in Seattle, and he has been playing steady throughout. He has actually protected the football in the postseason, so he's been playing great. Drake May not so much. But both guys, you have a reclamation project with Sam Darnold, and you have a guy that was projected to be this in Drake May. Both are in the Super Bowl here going head-to-head.
One thing I got to say about Mr. Hunt before we go further is, now, he doesn't look it right now, but I can tell you, if you think I dress sharp, and I do, my man kills it on CBS. And I have to shoot a message from time to time, like, bro, you're clean, and he knows he is too. So I do want to make sure that people know that when they catch you, they're not going to catch you in a hoodie. So my man is super clean. Emory, I want to ask you, at the beginning of the season, I don't think nobody expected these two teams here. How much of a surprise that we're seeing this matchup compared to who you probably thought was going to be in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year?
Man, listen, for the last 3 years, it's been my prediction has been Eagles, Ravens. That's been my Super Bowl pick for the last 3 years. And we came close to it in 2023. But the Ravens didn't hold their end of the bargain. But at the end of the day, when you look at these two matchups coming in, I know people had pockets of the Patriots could win the division, right? I saw some of that going around. One of my colleagues, Leger Douzable, I believe, had the Seahawks and Broncos getting super far in the postseason. I know he picked the Seahawks at the beginning of the postseason to get here, but preseason, you kind of thought, I can't remember why I had the Seahawks, but I didn't have the Patriots making the playoffs. So it's rare to see this matchup, but Seattle, but they still really wasn't giving New England their props. And even though they were winning all these games, all you heard was, well, look who they played. Well, at the end of the day, that's an NFL team that they played on the other side. And you could only play who's on your schedule, and you can only go out there and do what you do, what's presented in front of you. And they handled their business, and they reached this goal. And I love how they won in different ways. They had every right to lose that game against Denver, but they found a way to get it done, even in the same conditions that the Broncos played in. So you can't use that as a reason why the Broncos lost. And on the other side, Seattle just, they weathered the storm. You talk about their defense being consistent from start to finish. The offense has had its ups and downs, but they got it going around, I want to say around week 7 to where they hadn't looked back. So when you look at other teams in the NFC, Philly kind of played themselves out of it. The Rams, they beat them. And the Bears looked like the team that was going to be the one to go to the Super Bowl, but they ran out of gas against the Rams. And so Seattle has been arguably the most consistent team for about 11 weeks now.
Emory Hunt joining yours truly on Radio Row. We are live inside the Moscone Convention Center here in San Francisco, California, where Super Bowl 60 will see the Seattle Seahawks take on the New England Patriots. Now, Emory, I cover the Kansas City Chiefs. What were your thoughts this season for the Kansas City Chiefs, and where do you feel like they need to make some vast improvements this offseason?
I was shocked that they didn't make the postseason. I thought that was kind of one of those rubber stamp. They'll figure it out and they'll get in there, because that's what
I
they
thought that
do.
too.
Right? Everybody did, So, and I feel like what has changed, and I've been a big proponent of this. I've said this since Ben. Folks, when he was there, love to discredit what the impact Eric Bieniemy had on that team. A coach is supposed to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do the right way. It may not be friendly all the time. It may not be PC, but it's almost. I use this comparison, Darren. It's like growing up, you hear, man, let me take this chicken out the fridge because I don't want to hit my mama mouth. Like it's that it's already ingrained. Like
it's programmed.
I don't want to hit it, so let me do the right things because I don't want to hit their mouth. That's what Eric Bieniemy brought to the table. Like, man, let me just do my stuff the right way. Because I don't want to hear his mouth, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at how those teams executed, you feared Kansas City on offense. Since he left, you didn't fear Kansas City on offense, even with some of the changes that they've had in personnel. So I said all that to say, getting Eric Bieniemy back is great, but I also feel like they have to go and attack some threats, and part of that is losing Tyreek Hill. You lose the element of the threat that opened up that lifted the umbrella off the offense, off the defense, and now everybody else is able to operate. So I feel like they got to get another one of these threats that you fear, and that could be in the form of a receiver or a running back. And I've already placed Jeremiah Love with Kansas City. If they're able to get him, that's a wrap. Because when Kansas City had the Tyreek Hill, then the running backs were able to eat. But without a Tyreek Hill, you don't have that threat. How can you create those threats? They got good players at wide receiver, but man, if they add a game breaker in the backfield, now that opens everything up for these receivers that you have on the outside. So I feel like offense has to get back to being feared more so than anything. Defensively, I think they'll be fine. They'll figure out a way to get it done. Obviously, you can use another pass rusher. You always can stockpile depth there. I like how, as a unit, they play it in the secondary. They're smart. The football IQ is high. I just think the offense, whether it's the offensive line, you added some pieces there, some more depth there, game break in the backfield, maybe one more threat at wide receiver.
As you know, I've been a huge proponent of bringing Eric Bieniemy back, and Chiefs Kingdom kind of, for whatever reason, they were throwing some on him back, some didn't. Some say he didn't do anything when he was in office, or all he did, was yell at the players. Now, of course, you played as well. Yeah, I tell people, accountability is more than just yelling at a player. I mean, now if that's how you want to belittle or measure Eric Bieniemy, then that's on you. I said, to me, that shows the depth of what you can talk about when it comes to talking about football. But to your point of what you said, and I tell people, I like Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is a good man, but you could tell a difference from the 2022 team that beat the Eagles and the next year team that beat the 49ers. One was an offensive team, the other was a defensive-led team, because those same wide receivers that were there in 22 were all dropping passes in 23. I mean, even the Sunday night game where the Chiefs went up to Green Bay, MVS couldn't catch a cold up there, let alone a pass to Patrick Mahomes, and he really didn't catch a big pass until the Buffalo game in the playoffs. And it was like, okay, things started to turn around. And that's no shot at him. I mean, the facts are just what they are. What I told people was that what I saw when Eric Bieniemy left was a regression of Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. He was the most accomplished quarterback, but he was not the best quarterback. That conversation moved to Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Now, that's something for me in Kansas City covering Mahomes. That didn't sit well with me, but it's like the difference in those coordinators, and whether everybody wants to give Andy Reid the credit, calling the plays, so be it. But there's still a personality difference. Matt Nagy's a quarterback, and he's someone that's he's not a yeller. He's not someone that's going to be tough with the players. Bieniemy, Compton, California, former running back, obviously played in the Super Bowl when he was with the San Diego Chargers. He's an Omega Psi Phi. People who know about that, know what kind of mentality that he has. And so, and the thing is that I tell people all the time, he demanded perfection. Like if you've never been to a Chief practice, you would never understand this. But he gets on the players to make sure that they do the things right. So if a receiver would not dare drop the ball 37 times in the 2023 season because they would find themselves on the bench. You think I'm lying? Ask LaShawn McCoy when he came to Kansas City. He was fumbling the football. He rode the bench all the way to the Super Bowl and got him a participation ring. So I tell people, I said, so he holds players accountable, and the players themselves. If Patrick Mahomes is telling you that we need someone to hold us, that's going to make us accountable to what we do, I mean, to me, that there was only one person that you could get on that. Am I right? Or am I wrong about that?
No, you're absolutely right. If you think about, look at the Bears. Look at the difference in the Bears run game this year. You had a rookie in Kyle Monangai. You had a guy that I've always liked in DeAndre Swift that people just for whatever reason don't think he could play. And both of those guys combined had their best seasons, right? Obviously, Monangai is rookie, but the Bears run game, anytime they needed to get back to neutral, if they're starting to get away from Caleb Williams, man, lean on that run game. Those boys came to play week 1 to the postseason consistently. So he was the head coach of that position, and that showed you right then and there the impact that he has as a coach. And I always found the he didn't call the plays thing fascinating. That didn't stop any other offensive coordinator for Kansas City from getting head coaching jobs, but to each his own, right? I guess that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But at least Eric Bieniemy is back in the fold, holds players accountable, and as a former player, that's what you want. You want someone to be honest with you, tell you what's real and what's not, let you know where you stand, and holds you accountable the same way they hold the next guy. And so that way we all are on the same page of understanding what needs to be done, and we'll let the skill then develop from there, and we'll rank and file the skill set, and you can live with that because at least we are all held to the same accountability.
Emory, I was down here. I've been down here all week, and of course the Pro Bowl was a couple of nights ago, and obviously the big storyline coming into the Super Bowl and the Pro Bowl itself was the addition of Browns rookie quarterback, 5th round Pro Bowl quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. Now, you've been on the local stations there. I've been on the local the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show there, and talking football. One, we've been called defenders, and hey, I don't care. That nephew. It is what it is. I want to see him to see because not to say he had to be the first draft pick or even or number 2 pick, but he wasn't a 5th round draft pick, and we all know that anybody with 2 eyes can see that. What do you think he needs to do to get better in this Todd Monken offense in this upcoming season?
Just be given a real opportunity to compete for the starting job. If you give him that opportunity, he's gonna, live with the results. And I also feel like if he feels as though he has a fair shot, then we won't see him pressing and making those mistakes or getting. Think about this. This is the part that I'm glad you asked that question because this is the part that nobody ever brings up. Remember how in the preseason, in mini camps and all of those things, he was doing all this extra work after practice, throwing. Then he kept popping up with these random phantom injuries. Oblique here, oblique there, right? A shoulder here. Well, he probably was overcompensating for, the lack of reps I'm getting. So I got to go above and beyond, not realizing he's putting, he's hurting himself in the process, but that's what he had to do. If he had a fair shake or fair shot to or equal competition, then he wouldn't have to have done that, and it could have been even kill from start to finish. So I think just having a fair shake. Hey, we're all competing. You, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, you are all competing for the number 1 job, and we're going to divvy up these reps to see who shakes out. I think that's all you can ask for him. And we normally see with any rookie quarterback or any rookie period, we'll see the body develop going into year 2. So he'll be a little bit more stout. He won't look as lean in the upper body. I thought he gained some good weight leaving college and going to the pros. He already looked a little thicker in the preseason. So I feel like he's going to continue to develop his body, his frame. That's good. He gets a regular full off season without traveling around, going meet with this team, meet with that team, working out and all this stuff like that, just like with any rookie. And so now the body gets the rest, the mental rest, and now he gets to start fresh, having already done a season as a pro. And I think that helps all rookies. That's why you see a jump the next season because they don't have that elongated process that they have as a rookie from playing God knows how many games in college nowadays to the postseason process and then hitting the ground. So it's a long calendar year for those guys. So now with a normal season for him, I think we'll see him go into the offseason, attack it, know what needs to be done. He's already spoken about how he's in a better mental space. And I think we'll see the best form of Shedeur Sanders on the back end of it.
And look, and I would also be resigned to say that, when it came to discussing, and even this week, I guess I saw something where Tim Hasselback had some comments about the Shedeur that, makes you raise your eyebrows. But what I don't like about the conversation is that people aren't being honest about having, because it's like nobody. I cover Patrick Mahomes since day one. Mahomes would not be able to win behind that offensive line and with the offense that was there in Cleveland. And the sheer fact that people make it seem like, well, if Shedeur is as great as the people, as the Shedurians say he is, he should be able to, elevate this team. Well, he went 3-4, which is more games than anybody else won this past season. But also, again, he didn't have the same offensive line in consecutive weeks, if at all, when he got into the ball game, and his receivers are dropping passes. Again, Mahomes had receivers drop 37 passes in the year that they won the Super Bowl. So if you got receivers that are dropping passes, he can't be protected. You have a coach who's not putting him in the best situations. I don't care what to say now after the fact. We saw with our own eyes that he was not put in the best situation. You can't have an honest conversation saying that he's not your franchise quarterback when you never put him in a position to succeed like that. Am I right or am I wrong on that?
No, you're dead on. And that's my whole reason why I get so frustrated, because maybe I'm the dummy because I'm out here trying to have an honest conversation and everybody else around you trying to be disingenuous. Because if you look at the rosters that Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel played with, it's significantly different than the one Shedeur Sanders played with up front along the offensive line. He only had 2 games with Quinshon Judkins, a game and a half, I believe, with Judkins. And then he loses Harold Fannin. So those are the 2 top playmakers on offense that he loses. He quickly built a relationship with Isaiah Bond. That Cleveland figured out that he could throw the ball deep once he got in the ball game. And when you look at the roster on offense, it was completely different. And in those 3 games that he won, out of those 4 games that he lost, 2 of those games, Buffalo and also Tennessee, they had chances to win. So he could have been 5-2 as a starter. And now we're looking at that differently. They could have probably stolen a playoff bid. Who knows, right? So that's the disingenuous nature of it. I just don't understand why the name Shedeur Sanders makes people get crazy. It's just fascinating to me because here's the thing: when it's someone else, they have no problem finding the nuance. Because I did this, we do this segment on CBS called.
Hold on. Before you go further, they all talking about Shedeur running backwards, right? Last I checked, in that same game, Josh Allen ran all the way back and got tackled in the end zone. But I'm just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to point that out.
Classic example, right? And it's funny because they was talking about that in the preseason, and then later that week, the Thursday night spotlight preseason game, Joe Burrow took one of these crazy super sacks against Washington, and nobody said a word, right? So we do the segment on CBS called "Who You Be the Judge," where I put on a judge costume and whatnot, and at the time, this is the week before the final week of the season. Everyone was all on Tyler Shuck. Tyler. So I was like, wow, this is fascinating. I said, because these are the same people that'll let you know that quarterback wins are not a stat. But anytime you bring up Tyler Shuck, what the first thing they bring up, he's 4-3 as a starter. He's 4-3 at the time. He's 4-3 before they played that last game, I believe, right? So he's like, he's 4-3 as a starter. So I was like, well, that's funny because when you put up the side by side of the 7 games he played versus the 8 games Spencer Rattler played, same stats, same exact stats from passing yards, completion percentage, touchdown to turnovers, exact same. The only difference is they're winning ball games now because the defense is better, right? And I said, now the difference is Rattler fumbled the football, and those fumbles don't always show up on the box score. So, and they only scored 20 points twice when Shuck was the starting coach. So again, but all you heard was he don't have help and weapons, and he's 4-3 as a starter. Like, oh, y'all finding nuance now, and now quarterback wins are a stat. But when you bring up 3 and 4 as a starter for Shedeur Sanders, it's a problem. Or when you brought up Spencer Rattler, who's actually playing really well, he's 1-6 as a starter. So that's the part I get frustrated with. So I just smile, laugh, and I know people are stupid because they're not going to have genuine conversations. Because if we're just trying to have a football conversations, you can see that Shedeur Sanders out there offensively was out there with a week 3 preseason roster, and they were still finding ways to make it happen. So imagine logically if you add starter level offensive linemen, starter level receivers, health in the backfield, and that's why it was just fascinating to see folks just keep going on and on about they got to get a quarterback. Well, these are the same, and this is the other part. I always want to bring this up because this is talk about Eric Bieniemy. I'm the Eric Bieniemy football analyst because I'm hold people accountable. These are the same people from January 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2025. It was Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Cam Ward goes first. Shedeur goes in round 5. The Browns draft Dylan Gabriel. Not one human soul brought up Dylan Gabriel as being a better quarterback prospect than Shedeur Sanders, nor Tyler Shuck, nor Jackson Dart. It was always them 1 and 2. So now that Dylan was drafted ahead of Shedeur, it became, well, Dylan is better. And May 1st, 2025, all you heard was, you don't, next year's class is better. You got Nussmeier, you got Aller, you got Klubnik, you got Arch, you got Arch, you got Arch, you got Arch, you got Sellers, so I didn't name 5, right? Now they all speak in Spanish because all 5 of them were not. Mendoza's but
after week one, they were all done.
All done after week. So you didn't even mention Mendoza until all your 5. So now it's all. And then it was so. These people are never genuine. Because stand on it. If you believe Mendoza was that guy, then you would have said it then. And you didn't have that many qualifiers. Like, well, if he does this, he could be this. Like, that's the other thing. So they could weasel out the back way. But if you was hell bent on saying this guy, so if Shedeur Sanders was your QB2 or QB1 or top 40 talent at worst, him going in the 5th round doesn't change your evaluation, right? You would then say, man, the Browns got great value in the 5th round because I had him as a top 40 grade. So what changed? Are you grading a prospect? Or you just try to guess right where they're going to go? And I think most people in here, Darren, to put a bow on it, was most people are there's levels. You have mock drafters, you have draft rankers, or draft reporters, and draft analysts. I am a draft analyst. So what I do with my scout reports, that's what I stand on: right, wrong, and different. Case in point, I was getting fricasseed online in 2023 because I didn't have a high grade on the DN that the Chiefs took in the 1st round. Now I sit back 3 years later. It's like pass rush, right? But had I changed in like process, you know what I'm saying? I got to do this and do that. Nope. If I'd rather be wrong by myself than wrong in a group. So if I was wrong on a DN, I would have been like, you know what? Yeah, I got this wrong. But if you change as soon as somebody goes to 1st round, you look at, well, I got this wrong. Like, you don't even know yet. You don't even know if you're right or wrong. So that's my whole thing about the Sanders thing.
Man, before I get you out of here, I do have to ask you your thoughts on NIL and how it's affected college football, and better for worse when it comes to players getting, leaving for the NFL.
Man, this is I'm all for players getting their money, right? Yeah. And all for it, because it shows you how much money the schools had since then, right? They've always had the money. There's this meme that I love to use to reference this. Remember the meme? You ever seen the meme where the guy's pushing the small, tiny domino, and at the end is this big, large domino?
Yes.
The small domino is the NCAA allowing guys to get paid $150 for the video game and signing some autographs for like $200 and getting some sandwiches, some free food.
I remember that.
Domino is where we are now. Like, So all you had to do, because you are so greedy, was let those dudes get paid off the little video game, get paid off a little autograph, and some sandwiches or food or whatnot. But no, you want to be greedy and keep all the money. Now you got to pay dudes millions of dollars, right? So I'm all about getting them paid. What I have an issue with is guys playing college football past the age of 24, because now you're hurting the high school kid, because you can't blame the college coach, because the college coaches are they're trying to win games to keep their jobs, because now the pressure on them is to win now, because hey, you're paying players, you got to win. And so because that pressure is on them, they now pass the if this high school kid is not built like Jadeveon Clowney right now, I better go get somebody that has a college age body with college age experience, ready to go from day one, that can help me win. So you're squeezing out I won't say the top 200 high school players, they're going to be fine regardless, but you're squeezing out the guys that you would usually take a chance on. Let's say the 3-stars, right? You usually would take a chance on a 3-star and say, okay, well, I could develop this guy, and maybe by year 2 or 3, he'll be good to go for us. But that is unheard of now. And then everybody's trying to level up. So you got, the P4 guys go and get other P4 guys in a portal. You got FCS guys or G5 guys go and get P4 guys in the portal. FCS guys go and get G5 guys, and D2 guys go and get FCS guys. So it's like nobody's recruiting at their level. Everybody's recruiting up, because that's how many people in the portal. It has ruined on my side of things, is ruined, trying to forecast what these teams going to look like next year. Is also is ruin draft process, because you see it in the All-Star game circuit. Rarely do you see guys playing multiple games. Now you got dudes playing all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of people out there. And so it has a trickle-down effect that we're seeing now in every facet of it, recruiting, the draft. But in terms of them getting paid, go get more money. I love that for them.
I will say this, with it though being the way it is that it has kind of leveled the playing field, because now you got schools like Indiana that can compete with Alabama, because now with the NIL you got somebody that got the deep pocketbooks like Mark Cuban. That okay, I mean, to me that's one of the main reasons Nick Saban had to leave Alabama, because you couldn't find anybody that could compete with the type of money that saying that the Cuban can give him. I mean, he can write a $5 million check for one player if need be.
I have jokingly said this, but I was dead serious, but I said it in a jokingly way. But this was like 2 years ago, when NIL started to happen, right? I was like, man, I said the biggest play. Don't let the Ivy League decide they won't get serious about football, because they toss some of that T money around. It's a wrap. That the original 13 college money is over. Like that's the thing about it. And I also said then too, I was like, yo, would everybody get paid this? Man, if I'm a HBCU, if I'm Tennessee State, I'm calling Oprah like, hey, how bad you want to win? You know what I'm saying? If I'm Clark Atlanta, I'm calling Tyler Perry like, yo, you trying to win a championship? Like, and it was half jokingly back then, but look at what just came out 2 days ago. Mr. Beast, the big popular guy on YouTube, was like, man, I wonder if I give $100 million to East Carolina to help them win a championship. Like, boom. If you're an HBCU, we're your rich alums, go get busy and go get championships. So yes,
I know that's
go
right.
and make these. That's and don't let if the Ivy League really wanted to, Darren, they would jump to FBS and win right away, because you are not competing with that money.
No, not when you got the dab, but it's in the billions. We don't need federal government money. We got that's
people own the money
to
went to the Ivy League schools. The people own the dollars went to them schools. Like, you're not competing with that. That's
not even a little bit. Emory, look, man, I really thank you for your time. I know you got to get to work. Where can people find you on social media, and where can they watch you on CBS Sports HQ?
Follow me on Twitter at FBallGamePlan. You can pre-order the football game plan draft guide at footballgameplan.com/2026 draft guide. It's the largest draft guide in existence. Over 1,000 individual scouting reports, and we put these draft guides out since 2020. So if you want to go get the back orders, just go footballgameplan.com/2020 draft guide or 2021 draft guide, like that. and you'd have over, if you purchase a draft guide since 2020, right now you'd have over 10,000 individual scouting reports at your disposal. And the reason why that's important is because you would have a better gauge on what's on every roster. You would also have a better gauge on what's on your team's depth chart on the back end. It helps you be a smarter fan, a more knowledgeable fan. And if you're trying to do it from a betting perspective, now you know who's on whose roster. You kind of know where the talent lies. So it's a great resource, footballgameplan.com/2026 draft guide. We be having scout reports on everybody. So that's where you go to get the info, and you can just follow me on CBS Sports HQ as always.
Emory, I really appreciate it. I know we've exchanged messages and stuff on Facebook. Our first time being able to communicate. Appreciate it. I promise you it won't be the last time if possible.
Definitely. Next time I'll be in person, because now you done shame me. So I got to come correct next time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you dressed to the nines. Now I got to come correct next time.
Hey, man, first, what you need to do is figure out a way to get to Kansas City, you know what I'm saying, whether it's, covering the game or something, man, because I know you cover college football, so you got to get you to Kansas City. You got to get you some of this good barbecue out here.
Say less. I'm bringing my appetite. I love to eat. I'm from New Orleans, so you know I love to eat.
Say less then, brother. Thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right. We'll be back in probably a couple of minutes. We'll be joined by Steve Weiss of the NFL Network. We'll be right back after this timeout. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, Darren.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me right now is the cleanest man, or the sharpest dressed man on the NFL Network. Now, he didn't come correct today, and he's feeling the brother.
I am not the sharpest dressed man at the table, bro. You are killing the fabric, my bro.
I appreciate it. Shout out to Todd White and Todd's Clothing back in Kansas City. With me right now is the NFL Network's main chief. I call him the chief executive of the news. What's your exact title?
I am not the chief executive.
No.
They call me the chief national reporter, but titles mean absolutely nothing to me.
But what he is, though, is a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer. Going to be inducted into the
Black College Football Hall of Fame.
Now, where's it located?
So the Black College Football Hall of Fame is located inside the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So because there are 37 Black HBCU players,
correct,
in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, guys like Art Shell and Mel Blount and Lem Barney.
I mean, you got guys like
Buck Buchanan is in there. So I'm going as a contributor. It means everything to me. They absolutely sandbagged me. I didn't know this was going to happen, but it means a lot, man. You know, Howard University graduate, started out at the University of Missouri for 2 years, as you know, transferred to Howard, and being an ambassador to really uplift and accentuate HBCUs as the first choice, not as the alternative choice, is always been my mission. You know that. You're an HBCU grad. You know that.
Oh, yeah. I tell people, initially when I graduated from high school, my initial college was Howard University. I didn't get a chance to go there because there was some stuff going on back at home with the government, my pastor, my mom, that forced me to stay closer to home because if something were to go down, being in DC versus Jeff City, Missouri.
Right.
So that's how funny our life works. And then when I got a chance to do a fellowship at the White House, I'm like, I finally get to stay at Howard. My president said, no, you're going to stay at American University. He said, I know what'll happen if you're at Howard.
It's all right.
During the summer.
You were in D.C.
Yeah, I know, but I still want to be at Howard that summer. I want to stay there. But looking at the Super Bowl matchup, you got the Seattle Seahawks and taking on the New England Patriots. Well, now, what is your role going to be? Because I know you're going to be covering like 8.5 hours.
So, on game day, I will be at the stadium covering the Patriots, delivering Patriots news from the stadium. In the post game, I will be on the field with the winning team.
Of course.
So, excited about it. It should be a really good game. You know, on paper, and from what we've seen with our eyes, it seems like Seattle is the superior team.
Mm-hmm.
But every team that the Patriots have faced this postseason has supposed to have been the superior team, and the Patriots are the team that's here. And I think that's why it's going to be a really good game.
Especially defensively. I mean, the fact that they were able to beat the Houston Texans when, I mean, neither quarterback played well in that game.
Right.
But of course, Houston helped themselves. And then to take on the Denver Broncos in the weather the weather was crazy in the game. When I asked the gentleman before you came on, before the start of the season, nobody could have predicted this matchup.
No.
What was your initial thought?
Seattle, we knew they were going to be a good team. I mean, remember, they were a 10-win team last year. Didn't make the playoffs by virtue of a tiebreaker. The Rams got in. But you knew they were going to be good. Their question mark was Sam Darnold.
Correct.
Right? So who is no longer a question mark. People can second-guess him all they want. He's played his tail off. New England? Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
They were a mess last year. They made not significant offseason changes, but kind of foundation building, signing Milton Williams, drafting 2 offensive linemen who started on their left side. Those are foundational moves. Those aren't like pendulum swinging moves unless you get a coach and leadership that develops a culture right away, which they did. They won some games early. They developed confidence, and they got a quarterback because Drake May is a dude. I was telling people that last year when they were losing. I covered 2 or 3 of their games in person. I was like, he's a dude. And the way he's handled himself through all of this adversity, there's some stomach to him that his teammates, once they get this right, are going to embrace, and it happened much faster than anyone expected.
At the national level, how shocking, or was it a shock at all that the Chiefs did not make it? And I don't say the fall from grace from last year to this year, but just, I guess, but injury bugs and things that took place with that team. How surprising is it for you to not see them, at least in the playoffs?
It was surprising because we always thought that 15, Patrick Mahomes could get them there, that they were going to find a way just because he is so special. And what he did this year, the way he played this year, like he was great. With everything that was happening around him, this was some of the best football we had seen him play. But at the same time, I mean, winning over and over is hard. Going longer into the offseason year after year and then coming back when everyone else does is hard. So I think this year was kind of, okay, everything finally hit. The fatigue finally got to them. The injuries finally caught up. The lack of some issues in personnel were finally exposed by some other teams. I think it caught up to the Ravens. I think it caught up to Buffalo. They all had holes, and these were teams with the best quarterbacks who didn't get in. And now they've got to reset because everyone else is coming. Don't think the Chargers aren't going away. The Broncos aren't going away. The Patriots are on the uptick. I mean, there's some other teams that are coming. So the teams that have been the standard, they've got to reset their standard real quick because there's some new kids on the block.
If I were a homer, which I'm not, my defense of Kansas City would be it would have been more of their own doing by them not making the playoffs, because you look at the close games that they had last year. I think they were like 11-0 in one possession games. Well, those same one possession games they weren't able to.
That's the NFL.
But and I tell people, times were penalties at the wrong doggone time, drop passes once again, and little things like that to where, and Harrison Butker. This is one of the years that he missed so many kicks. We just couldn't believe, and I remember talking to him. Might have been after, I think it was after the week 4 against the Baltimore Ravens in Kansas Sunday Night Football. I talked to him in the locker room, and I asked him. I said, "Did he feel like, when he looks back, those missed kicks, doesn't keep him up at night because he feels like had he made those kicks, the team or the pendulum, or the record might not be what it is. And he said to me that it's been messing with his head, and then he would again eventually miss some more kicks in crucial moments because when he's missed those kicks early, it ends up having an effect on the final score at the end. Because like if you make this kick here, whether it's a field goal or extra point, you make the extra point in Brazil. Well, when they score later on, they don't have to go for two.
Right.
And so instead of go for two, they go for a tie. And then, depending on how that last quarter plays, well, maybe we're just kicking a kick of the field goal to tie or kicking the field goal to win the game. Overtime, we let the chips fall where they may. And then, of course, to me, that's just how things just start just rolling down the hill throughout the season where he would miss a kick early on and it have an adverse effect in the game later on.
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about how close they are and how little things like that. Like Denver won a million of those games this year.
Yeah.
Like they might not win like that next year.
Yeah.
They can't keep on coming out of the gate scoring 4 points in the first quarter, which is what they averaged. They have to get leads now and play better. So, again, with Kansas City, I think some of the issues on the offensive line showed up. They've got to stabilize that. They can't keep trying to smoke and mirror things. They've got to find more speed at running back. Pacheco's fine, but they got to get somebody who can go.
I don't think Pacheco will be here next year because
everyone's got a running back with good teams that can go. Like look at Kenneth Walker right now. Ramondre Stevenson's been playing fantastic for the Patriots in the playoffs, and they got Travion Henderson who can go.
Yeah.
And they haven't been using him much in the playoffs, which is why I think they're going to unveil him a little bit more in the Super Bowl.
That too, yeah.
So, that you've got to have someone who can take the top off of a defense. I mean, one of the best in-season trades is Rashid Shaheed with Seattle to get him. He hasn't caught a ton of deep passes, but teams have to game plan for it.
Oh, yeah.
He can run defenders off and open up coverage for the stuff they do underneath. Plus, he's a great returner. So, Kansas City doesn't have to do major surgery, but they clearly have got to fix some things because, again, Denver ain't going anywhere. The Chargers ain't going anywhere. And now they got Mike McDaniels calling plays there. Or Mike McDaniels, calling plays. That offense can get even better.
Now, I can't have you here and we're not hit on some touchy subjects. 10 head coaches being hired, or 9.5 being hired. One that'll be announced right after the Super Bowl. None of them African-American. It's been reported that Robert Saleh doesn't like to be known as a minority. So,
Robert Saleh is Lebanese. He's considered a minority.
I get it.
And he considers himself.
Okay, because I was going to say, if he gets pulled over, he'll understand that. I do want to ask you this. No black head coaches, and people think it's the Rooney Rule is what it is, but your thoughts on no black coaches?
People can blame the Rooney Rule. I blame the owners.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean the Rooney Rule has been in place for 20-some years now. It's a matter of hiring somebody who you think can win. And the frustrating thing in talking to black candidates, and especially the up-and-comers, is seeing someone like Phillip Rivers get a head coaching interview. Right? Phillip just came back to play. And nothing against Phillip. It's not his fault he got the interview, just like it wasn't Jeff Saturday's fault he got the interim job. Somebody offered it to him. And so I know some teams are trying to think outside the box, but when you've got an Anthony Weaver, who everyone will tell you, oh, man, that guy interviews well. He was so impressive. It's almost to black people like you saying, gee, you're articulate and gee, you're
so
clean.
well. Yeah.
Because you're not hiring him. He's gone through the cycle 4 or 5 times. And everyone says, like, he's that guy. Like Christian Parker, I'm glad he got the defensive coordinator job in Dallas. Everyone says he's that guy. No more excuses, though, about, hey, these black coaches are on the defensive side of the ball.
You look at those some on the offensive side.
But we need some on the offensive side, and they're there. Eric Bieniemy was the only black offensive coordinator hired the past 3 years, mind you. So let's start there.
Yeah.
But this year there were 4 or 5 defensive head coaches hired, too. There are 2 defensive head coaches in the Super Bowl, so we can no longer use the excuse that black coaches on the defensive side of the ball. That's another excuse to say no. So right now, like a lot of black folks in this country with what's going on, people are sitting by saying, this is how you want it. Let's see how it works. But coaches now have been hired because they've touched Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan more so than maybe some people who've paid their dues to get their opportunity.
Byron Leftwich, why is he not?
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily people holding something against Byron. I don't know if Byron wants to be in it as much. I haven't spoken to Byron, but his name hasn't even popped up. I think that could be, part of it. Maybe Byron does. Now, again, I just don't want to speak for him, so I don't really know what that situation is involved with.
And the fact that Eric Bieniemy is brought back to Kansas City, your thoughts on that?
Love it. Love it. And clearly, like the players and everybody else seem to love it too, because they would talk when you hear some of the stuff, the accountability is back. Now, and I think Matt Nagy is a very smart guy, and people think very highly of him. But he's not like Eric. You know him.
I know.
He will put the FIA or FYA in it or in yours. But the A, we know what that is if you misstep. And so maybe bringing that back in will help. But again, they've got to add more speed at some key places if they want to get things going.
Yeah, look, the thing I felt about Bieniemy was that, people try to belittle him down to just dealing with periods. It's a lot more than that. Is that I saw the impact that he had in coaching these players, and I just felt that, Mahomes regressed as a quarterback the last 3 years. I say Matt Nagy's a good coach. He's a good man. But their coaching styles, to me, was just night and day. Patrick demanded perfection, demanded to be pushed to the brink, and that's what Bieniemy did, and I didn't see that, and he didn't see it the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to push Patrick Mahomes. I think it's the stuff around him.
Well,
when I saw Patrick Mahomes play this year, I thought he played his ass off. There were just some things that continued to show up over and over. You talk about the penalties. How many years are we going to talk about that with the Chiefs, right? Wow. Certain position on the offensive line. How many years are we going to talk about that with the Chiefs? Not having a consistent downfield threat. Yes, there are a lot of injuries. Teams are finding guys, man. Keyshawn Boutte is doing his thing for the Patriots right now. Again, Seattle going out and getting Rashid Shaheed. Getting play like they're there.
They made the moves during the season.
Yeah.
Steve, before we get out of here, let people know where they can find you on social media.
At WYCHE89, at Wyche89 on X/Twitter, on the IG. Don't come with the BS because you will be smelling it if you come at me wrong.
And one thing I can tell you about it, I ain't going to ask him for his prediction because he's going to be with the winning Super Bowl team regardless. So, Steve, thank you.
Always
my
good,
friend.
D.
I appreciate
Always
it.
good, my man.
All right, I'll see you in Kansas City soon enough. All right, we'll be back after this timeout. Thank you so much.